Imagine this. What if Gaijin removed repair costs from War Thunder permanently, or even for a short period of time? What would it do to the game? Would the long-term consequences be negative or positive? Wouldn't you like to know? Welcome, I'm Alpha Heavy Gamer. Join me in a discussion of what-ifs. There are few things that can enrage the player base in War Thunder more than insane repair costs. Repair costs are seen most often as a punitive obstacle that prevents player enjoyment. For example, some of your most favorite vehicles in the game may be smothered under a high repair cost. Its muffled screams unheard until it finally fades into obscurity. Excessive repair costs drive questionable player behavior. For example, extremely passive play is often a direct function of high repair costs. Remember when the STR-V122 first came out? High repair costs also contribute to a lack of variety in the vehicles played. Playing cheap vehicles ensures you don't fall behind in the game economy. Let's face it, there are many other controversial aspects to War Thunder, but in my opinion, repair costs rank pretty high. So this video doesn't turn into a 30-minute episode though. I want to keep this discussion scoped down to the realistic battle mode. Now I know simulator mode, at least on the air side, has some serious issues with repair costs right now, but that's a whole nother video on its own. So, this singular mechanic in my opinion is one of the biggest factors in lack of player base growth. I mean, think about it. Players often have to play vehicles they don't want to play because the ones they desire to play are unsustainable. War Thunder's incredibly austere game economy ensures that most players quit before they ever get to what they want to play. Crucially, Gaijin has been marketing high-tier modern combat vehicles for a long time, and most new players are attracted to the game because of that marketing. I specifically was drawn to War Thunder because of this focus. So let's get down to it. There are two types of players in War Thunder: those who are indifferent to repair costs, and those that don't like the mechanic. I fall in the latter category. In the indifferent category are players that are so new to the game that they don't understand the impact of repair costs yet. I mean, most new players just pick a line and start driving down it. They keep going on their merry way until they hit a roadblock, and that roadblock is repair costs. But also in the indifferent camp are veteran players. Now these players are really good at the game. They've amassed vast sums of silver lions already, and with their skill they are not deterred from playing high repair cost vehicles. Like for example the Saggittario 2, an Italian plane which now sits at BR 8.7 and costs 41,000 SL to repair. Veteran players will continue to play the Saggittario 2 because it's a great plane, but they exacerbate the problem. The repair cost of this plane will theoretically keep climbing as it's now nearly exclusively used by more and more skilled players. Less skilled and game economy poor players will avoid it like the plague and stop using it altogether. The repair cost will go higher still as Gaijin attempts to balance the plane's earnings. But it's like a dog chasing its tail. It's always the same. The end result is that the Saggittario 2 will most likely never escape the repair cost black hole and will suffer the same fate of many vehicles in the game: parked. Now there are so many other considerations that I've probably left out, and that's where your comments on this video come in. So let's get to the first question I posed. What if Gaijin removed repair costs from War Thunder permanently? I think after an initial period of disbelief that the word would spread and players that quit the game because of repair costs would return. The removal of what is seen as a punitive mechanic would create goodwill. I also believe that those same players would try to bring in their friends. I cannot get any of my friends to stick with this game because of the game economy. They can't make enough SL to buy what they want, and even if they managed to, they couldn't keep playing those vehicles. I mean, repair costs alone is such a small aspect of the game, and so many other issues, such as crew costs, vehicle purchase costs, module costs, crew upgrade costs, etc. That should overshadow it, but it doesn't. It's a small technical aspect, but it has a large psychological impact. Removal of this most visible artifact, I think, would be good for the community. So now to the next question. What would it do to the game? I acknowledge that this is a player-centric view, and this change would force Gaijin to make up that lost revenue elsewhere. However, the sheer amount of players that might return under a less oppressive system could be worth it. I think the new players that would pick up the game and stick with it based on the new economy would be worth the risk for Gaijin. A larger player base means more people to sell premium vehicles to, more people to sell premium time to. And like any platform, the more people in the network, the more opportunities for growth. I mean, you can just check the streaming category alone for War Thunder. It's been pretty flat growth. There's never really a lot of people streaming the game or watching it. But I don't think that's a reflection on the core combat play of the game. I think it's more of a reflection on the very oppressive game economy and the lack of progression. I mean, the word's out on the street, and people who would like to play this game, they already know what they're in for once they get to the game. So now for the last question. Would the long-term consequences be negative or positive? I think the overwhelming long-term consequences would be a net positive. Happy players that want to play the game means more money for Gaijin. Player behaviors would change. Passive play to avoid, for example, debilitating repair bills would be a thing of the past. Players would explore more of the content available, namely vehicles that were deemed too expensive to play before. There would be more variety in the player lineups and more diverse tactics. Lots of amazing vehicles are simply not played and fall into obscurity because of the repair bill. On the other hand, this change does open up the possibility that some vehicles, like bombers, would be spammed. They would need to take an earnings hit to ensure that they don't break the economy in other ways, because they're so easy to play. I mean, you have to admit it. Now, in conclusion, I would love Gaijin to take this into consideration. I think repair costs going away would be a good thing for the entire game. I think the game could probably reach the potential that we all want it to. Alright, so that's the video for today. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. Please drop a like or subscribe, or both. It certainly helps the channel out, and I'll see you in a future video. Thank you.